Hi everybody, I hope you're doing well. So I really wanted to come on because I've been feeling this nudge to share more about the 1 meal a day challenge that we have just completed. We did in my holistic health group, we did a 10-day OMAD challenge, and I am absolutely blown away by how amazing this challenge was. And I've done many fasts, but this I felt was a little bit more challenging because you're still going to be eating. And so, hi, for those that don't know me, my name's Syra. I'm a quantum healer and wellness coach. And this video is all going to be about health, wellness, nutrition, mind, body, soul alignment, and really connecting in to who we truly are so we can thrive. And so if that's of interest to you, please do stay till the end. And I'll be talking about the next challenge at the end of this video, which is free, by the way. And so, yeah, the 1 meal a day challenge for 10 days. I've had such an amazing experience of it, and so many others that many in the group are still continuing to do it. And so, yes, at first, the idea of going 23 hours without eating and only having an hour an eating window can seem quite daunting. But when your intention behind why you're doing it is to really, truly reconnect with who you are, connect with the divine creator God, and to abstain and liberate yourself from the mental chatter and those addictive patterns and heaviness and emotional patterns as well that can really just keep you in a cycle. And that's what I kind of found myself in actually before this challenge, that for me, and you can see on my journey on YouTube where I've gone for a huge transformation in my health and well-being, where I started a 21-day or 24-day fast back in 2020, which literally was the trajectory to change my life. And it's opened up so much just from starting to fast. But one of the things that I started to notice recently, since I did Laurie Ladd's 40-day with God class, is I've been fasting without, intention's been there and understanding what my why is, but it hasn't been truly connected in with prayer and intention to reconnect in with God. And now I'm looking at fasting in a whole different light, where before fasting, yes, was to raise my vibration, or maybe to lose a little bit of weight, or, you know, maybe just have a break from the patterns or just have a break from food. But it wasn't really like I am going to fast to abstain and connect more with God. So instead of reaching for food, which would have been my comfort, whether it's healthy or not, it means I'm pulling away from the creator. We're pulling away from God. And I had an amazing experience in this 40-day with God class, where I really started to notice more of my patterns and behaviours start to come really to the surface. And it's because we was connecting more into God. And there was I feel it was a little bit of a miracle that happened, because it felt like in one of the classes on day 30 that God's light came into my body and shifted all of these patterns out of me. And so what it allowed me to do, and then the download really came clear, is do a 1 meal a day challenge. Well, it was do 1 meal a day was what I felt I needed to do. But as I always do with anything that comes into my reality, I want to do it in community. I want to see who else wants to join on board. And so I felt very aligned, and we did it in my group. And it really has been transformational in so many ways, and just really connecting in and having that intention with prayer and connection, and really witnessing and observing what is the body telling me right now. Is it true hunger? And really listening to these hunger pangs and waves, and how quickly they come and go, and how before I'd have this urge and craving to go and just go to the kitchen and get food. And because I'd created this space in my mind, because I knew I was doing this 1 meal a day, and I felt like God had literally shifted loads of energies out of my body that just wasn't serving me and entangling in my field, it was actually a breeze. And I'm continuing to do it now. And so the things that I've really noticed since doing this OMAD challenge is my connection to God has deepened. Yeah, it has deepened because I did that 40-day with God class with Laurie Ladd, and I'm going to do a whole separate video on that because that deserves a whole separate video in itself, because so much as I'm not the same person basically from when I started the class to where I am now. And yeah, so my connection with God has definitely deepened. My relationship with food has 100% improved. I don't go to food as an emotional crutch anymore. Instead, when I'm feeling my emotions and I'm feeling triggers or feeling a bit out of alignment or wobbly, I call on God. I call on God's light. I even call on Yeshua, because Yeshua has been very close in this class. And also before this 40-day, Yeshua has really been coming in really strong into my field. And I'm not religious whatsoever. Don't go to church, don't read the Bible. But so it's still quite surprising to me, shall we say, that that I'm connecting in with Yeshua, which is, the Christed, connected in with that Christed light, which is a frequency basically. And so I'm still understanding about the teachings in the Bible and how the dots are all coming together, which is blowing me away in many ways, and how scripture is coming together as well. So, but yeah, I'm definitely not religious, but it is interesting to witness for sure. And so, yeah, so I've started to even eat more, right, in that hour window, because I clearly wasn't eating enough, which meant that my lifts were just stagnating at the gym. So I'm having fat loss and I'm actually lifting heavier. Now, that is not my goal, but it's a bonus. I've got clearer skin. I've got improved cognitive function. I'm so much more focused. My intuition is heightened. I've got more energy. My sleep has improved. I've got clearer skin. The amount of space in my mind is just because obviously I'm having the whole day with not thinking about food, and so it's just like a nice relief for me anyway, because food is something that is massive in my family, and coming together and community and all of that, it takes up a lot of mental space, and so having that has just been a welcome relief for sure. And so if anybody is really wanting to just try this one meal a day, absolutely. If you've just been noticing these patterns, behaviors, emotional eating, this is definitely going to help to bring more awareness to that and really help to shift that energy that you've been in. It will help to release those cravings as well. And one thing I do want to preface is I eat very, very clean. I'm predominantly raw vegan, but you can still use healthy food as an emotional crutch. And what I was doing, instead of going to God and bringing in the light of God when I was feeling this, I was going to food as my crutch. And so people do that in many ways. People go for cigarettes, they go for alcohol, they go for shopping, they go for their phone, social media. There's so many ways we distract ourselves. And what it showed me is that actually when I do feel these wobbles or emotional waves come to the surface, that is when I call on the light of God. And this is exactly what happened. My car got towed basically, and before I would have freaked out, it would have been, but all I did in that moment to calm myself, I just called on the light of God, and it was resolved within 20 minutes. Like, it parked around the corner, it was all these things, but I just was able to see the old version of me and how that would have consumed my whole day probably, and then calling everybody after, do you know what happened to me? And none of that. It was resolved. It was just, and that is because I'm more at peace within myself. That's another thing that I've identified. There's a lot more peace within me and just more clarity as well. More clarity has come in. And so yeah, I highly recommend if you want to do a one meal a day. And that's what I was going to say is, when you break your fast, because you do a 23-hour eating window, not an eating window, a fasting window, and then an hour eating window ideally. And, it's not an invitation really to just eat what you want and to break fast with really unhealthy foods. I'm noticing that's happening a lot. We still need to look after this temple. It is so precious to us. and we need to be looking after it and honouring it and respecting it. You know, we've only got one body, right? And, you know, this is the home for our soul. And the more we evolve and ascend into higher states of consciousness, the more we need to strengthen our physical body, the more light we call in. So breaking it with sweets, breaking it with fried food isn't going to be the most optimal for the body. And so, you know, that is where I just err on the side of caution. It's like, can you also be mindful of what you're breaking your fast with? Because that is important as well. And so for me, and I'll put some pictures on the screen, these are the kind of foods that I was eating in that eating window. And I eat a lot of fibre, and that, for me, it was a lot easier to eat that amount because I've been building my gut, my microbiome, to help be able to have that high amount of fibre. If you're somebody that's had a really low fibre diet, you might just need to, you know, be slow and steady with what you're going to be introducing. And if you want to support with that, please do reach out. I also have a 21-day purified program as well that helps rebalance the microbiome, which is really amazing and transformational for me and my clients. And so, yeah, if you are really wanting to just, you know, maybe you've been doing intermittent fasting and now you're just feeling that you just want to break some cycles, some patterns. You want to reconnect to who you are, God, creator, whatever that means to you. And you just want to really make some changes and you want to try this one meal a day, like, I'll be more than happy to support you. Just reach out, but join my holistic health group. There's many in there that have already done the challenge. There'll be more challenges coming, and just having that space for community to really feel held and supported is going to really help you with accountability and having a success basically with it, and just cheer you on. And so I'd love nothing more than to support you on that. So just join the free group. There's nothing to lose there. And so, yeah, it's definitely been a game changer for me. That's why I'm continuing to do it. And I'm really excited that we're going to be doing our 5-day water fast for solstice. And so this is from the 12th of December. So 5 days. You don't need to necessarily do water. You can do juice or broth, or just 3 days of water or juice or broth, whatever feels right for you. But that's all free. That's in the community as well, in the groups, chats, so DM me. And if you want any other support or want to know how I can support you in a health journey to align with your mind, body, soul, so you can truly elevate and thrive, then please do reach out, because I'd love nothing more than to support you on this journey. And so it's really important right now to listen to our body. What does it need? Fasting during solstice can really aid with aligning with the changes of the season, and also help with parasites and releasing these parasites, because they really do interfere with our gut-brain connection basically. And they're the ones that can be typing in the gut messages that send it to the brain, eat this, do that, and things like that. So yes, and also programs and limiting beliefs they can control also. So yes, if you want to join the group or want to work with me, details are below. I hope this video has helped. Have a blessed day, everybody.